Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Neutral Zone, where we will be covering everything that is Quinnipiac University hockey. Hello, I'm Andrew Badillo, and joined alongside men's ice hockey beat reporter MJ Baird. MJ, how you doing?
Andrew, I'm great. Thanks for having me today.
Great. So the Bobcats this weekend, the men's ice hockey team, traveled up to upstate New York. They took on Cornell and Colgate. And MJ, it was a really wild weekend. Colgate game. Quinnipiac came back in the game. Colgate scored 2 goals in 26 seconds to tie it. Kevin McKernan with the go-ahead goal that won the game for the Bobcats. And in the Cornell game, they came back from 2-3 goal deficits, only to win it in overtime. Connor Clifton shuffling in the game-winning goal. So, MJ, I mean, the resiliency of this team has been unbelievable so far this year.
Yeah, you know, it's really crazy. It was on basically a pedestal this weekend. We saw it, but it's something reoccurring a couple times. We saw it in the Colgate game, 2 goals in less than 30 seconds, like you just said. That's almost like a heartbreaker when you're up 2-0 and the opponent puts up 2 like that. You take the momentum, you swap it right the other way. But Bobcats came out in that third, scored that early goal, able to fend off Colgate for the rest of the third period, and that's just one example right there. Another example, if you go back to the St. Cloud State game, Bobcats were down 2-0 early in the second period. Went on to score 5 unanswered goals against Charlie Lindgren, a goalie who, coming into that series, was supposed to be the best goalie in the league. So that right there, 5 unanswered goals in the second and third periods, resiliency. And one more time now, like you just said, the Cornell game, they had enough gas in the tank to come back, being down 3 goals twice. Obviously, you had the 3-0 and then the 4-1, but being able to force overtime and then mount that comeback, the fact that they knew they had enough gas in the tank to do so and win that game, that'll play dividends going forward in the season.
Definitely, MJ. A little reminiscent of the 12-13 team, and you know what happened with that team. Went all the way to the national championship game, but the team has a great mixture of youth and experience throughout all the lines and the D-corps. So, I mean, MJ, you got Thomas Allworth coming in, the young freshman out of Texas, and then you have seniors like Soren Janssen and Tim Clifton who have really, and Travis St. Dennis who have done tremendous so far this year. And how well have the upperclassmen and underclassmen gelled this year? Right.
So, like you said, the likes of Aldsworth, Prisky, Davidson, and then the upperclassmen, Connor Clifton, who's a junior, and then you got St. Dennis, Captain Soren Janssen. They're working as a team very well, like they should be. Aldsworth, got that ECAC Player of the Week, Rookie of the Week early on. Hasn't been on the score sheet much, so something we need to look forward out of him, for him to step up for the Bobcats. Prisky's really starting to come into his own on defense. He's got, I believe it's 8 assists for the Bobcats. That right there, team player. Davidson, he's got the scrappy forecheck, always in there, playing the body, stealing the pucks. And it kind of reminds me of Soren Janssen. Same thing. He's going in there, going into the corners, front of the net, willing to get dirty goals. You said it, St. Dennis, leading the team in goals, one of the top players in the ECAC in goals. That's great. And like I said, Connor Clifton, completely changing the way he played from last year, not running around just trying to hit everyone. He's starting to play like a defenseman, like he should, and like the product that he is.
Just a few numbers really quick, just to get an idea of how explosive this team is. 3rd-ranked offense in the country. They're scoring 4.38 goals per game. And the 7th-ranked defense in the country, only yielding 1.75 goals per game. So pretty balanced team in the ECAC.
Yes.
So moving along to the special teams. Heading into the Cornell game, the Bobcats were 25-25 on the PK. However, they did give up 3 power play goals to Cornell. Maybe Thomas Aldworth's 5-minute major had something to do with that, rattled the team a little bit. But MJ, what happened in that game? I know Rand Pecknell said they were missing assignments and they might have been a little rattled. But
I do think it was a lot to do with that major. We saw Aldworth get the major misconduct, so he was out of the game. 5-on-4 for 5 minutes, and for anyone who doesn't know what a major is, even though you may score on it, the power play still continues. So they scored 2 goals on that major, and I think once the first one in, like you said, they were a bit rattled. They were like, oh, geez, like we just gave up our streak. We were 25 for 25, and then next thing you know, the second one comes in. The one later in the first period on the power play was probably not as much to do with the major, but they were down 2-0. They were panicking a little bit, and before you know it, they're down 3-0. But like we said, they were able to mount that comeback. But we do have to give props to the Cornell power play because perhaps it was something the Bobcats weren't ready for. They weren't expecting that powerful power play from Cornell.
And Pecknell did say yesterday in his press conference that the team hasn't been, the numbers have been there on the PK, but the team really hasn't been playing that well. And that's a testament to Matthew Pekka and Danny Federico leaving to graduation last year. Those players double shifted on the penalty kill. And those are two huge positions that you need to fill. And with Luke Shiplow and Chase Prisky coming in and a lot of young freshman forwards, it's tough to get players into new roles as early on in the season as we are in.
Right, when you're playing that box on defense, and just not only is it awareness for the players, but like you said with the double shifting from Pekka and others, it's like they were out there the entire power play. They could kill it. They were able to kill it, like with being able to be out there on the ice for the whole 2 minutes. Like, that's not normal, especially on a penalty kill. You're going up and down the ice trying to clear the puck. So I don't see that being something the Bobcats are going to try to implement, meaning keeping guys out there for double shifts, but having that two lines that's able to kill the penalty is going to be crucial going forward.
Okay, so MJ, moving on, Andrew Taverner came back this weekend and made a huge impact. Was he a player that stood out to you over the weekend?
Stood out, yes, but I think there was other likes I would put ahead of him. Definitely good play from him. I liked Tim Clifton better. He came back from being out of the lineup, 1 goal in each game, but definitely not taking credit away from Taverner. He had a great weekend as well. Also, just Travis St. Dennis still playing to this high level that I wouldn't say we didn't expect, but even Rand Pecknold said it earlier in the year, he's becoming who he knows he can be. And he's staying at that level, something you don't always see. Sometimes they fluctuate. So far, he's staying up there. And if he can do that, the Bobcats are in good shape.
And a player that needed to step up over the weekend?
Well, particularly, I think it's Thomas Aldworth. Like I said, he had that ECAC Player of the Week honors, Rookie of the Week honors. I believe it was 3 weeks ago now. And since then, he hasn't been on the score sheet much at all, if any. Only 1 assist on Friday. Like we said, he got thrown out on Saturday for that hit from behind, but there's a lot of skepticism about that call, whether it was just or not. So putting that penalty and misconduct aside, still, he needs to get back on the score sheet. Shooting from anywhere like he has been. When we have home games here at Hamden, you see him, he gets the puck on defense, rushes it up the right side, shoots the puck on net every single time. He needs to keep doing that, and whenever he gets the puck, take that ripper of a shot that he does have. And before you know it, the pucks will be going in the net.
And that will continue to happen because Rand Pecknold prides his team on puck possession, out-shooting the other team. Quinnipiac's an extremely deep team. They have 11 players with 5 or more points. And Pecknold even said it again, I'm going to repeat it, but it's the first time since 2012, 2013 that he's felt that his team has been this deep.
Right.
MJ, moving on. Friday, they got a huge game against Harvard.
Right.
First ECAC game against them, and then Dartmouth on Saturday. What do you like with the matchup?
Well, Friday is going to be a great game, Andrew. First of all, great game. Number 4 versus the number 7 teams. You see the Bobcats, they moved up from 5 to 4 this week. Harvard's sitting at 7. Jimmy Vesey, senior player, decided to come back this year to play at Harvard again. He led the league, the nation in goals last year, 32 goals. So the fact that he's back with that senior leadership on Harvard, they have a great squad. 3-0-1 they are in the ECAC. They had an overtime tie with Yale. The Bobcats 8-0, 2-0 in the ECAC, but Harvard currently ranked number 1 in the ECAC. They're coming into Hamden to play the Bobcats. I do think that helps Quinnipiac. That's in our favor, but great game it's going to be. I think it'll come right down to the wire.
Sounds good, MJ. Harvard is currently undefeated in the ECAC with that tie against Yale. Puck drop on Fridays at 7 o'clock and against Dartmouth on Saturday at 7 o'clock. When we come back, Matt Corso is going to join me, and we're going to talk some Quinnipiac women's ice hockey. Thanks a lot, MJ.
Thank you.
My name is Doug Thoreau. For nearly 90 years, 3 generations of my family have been providing the highest quality repair service. Insurance companies will refer car owners to lesser quality shops to save money. At Thoreau Auto Body, we provide the highest quality repairs with a lifetime guarantee to maintain the safety and value of your car. That's the quality you deserve. Thoreau Auto Body, our best work goes unnoticed.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services, from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at a sheer sensation.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike's sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Hello and welcome back to the Neutral Zone. I'm joined alongside Matt Corso, women's ice hockey beat reporter. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Great. So the women's ice hockey team this weekend had a bit of an interesting weekend. First, they tied Colgate 0-0. Ashlyn Rando, Colgate goalie, made 44 saves. Tremendous performance, but then they rebounded on Saturday against Cornell, defeating them 3-1. They scored 3 goals in about 6 minutes to upend Cornell. Matt, what did you see out of Sydney Rossman's play this weekend? She bounced back after a rough weekend last weekend.
Right. She played Yale. Tough weekend for her, but obviously, like you said, a great bounce back weekend. She allowed 4 goals on 9 shots to Yale, but this week she stopped 41 out of 42 shots against Colgate and Cornell. So, I mean, I think she just had an off week. Every great player's allowed an off week. Cassandra Turner in the press conference reiterated that no one's ever questioned Sydney Rossman's mentality, work ethic, and skills on the ice. So, I mean, I think it was just something that happens out of the blue, and I don't think we'll see it again this season.
Rossman's stats throughout this season, she's a 6-1-2 record, .908 save percentage, and 1.53 goals against. So she's been very solid this year. Moving on, so the power line of Melissa Samoskevich, TT Cianfrano, and Emma Woods has been unbelievable for this team so far this year. They've accounted for 41 points combined, while the rest of the team has only combined for 33 points. So, Matt, and the bottom lines haven't really done much. So what needs to happen with this team in order moving forward?
Well, like I said, like you said in the beginning as well, they had 44 shots in their game Friday. That's great, except for the fact that they couldn't convert. I mean, Samoskevich, Woods, and Cianfrano had a great game. To open the season, Cianfrano and Woods were riding 7-game point streaks, which is very impressive. Surprisingly, they have the same amount of shots as the second line, but their plus-minus differential is insane. They have twice as many points as any other line on the team, and like you said it, they account for more points than the whole team combined, and by a big difference. So I think that just having a very diverse line, you have a freshman, a sophomore, and a junior, it's very interesting to see how Melissa Samoskevich has adjusted to Division I hockey play, and she's obviously fit in very well with that line. Talking about the bottom end, I think those players just need to kind of be more aggressive. They need to set up their shots more. You see with the power line, like you said, they take their time to set up shots, couple good passes, and then they got that open goal or one-timer skating through the zone. I don't see that with the bottom lines.
Yeah, I mean, players like Danielle Marmer, Randy Marcone, Miranda Lance, Raquel Penoyer really need to step it up. I think Penoyer is the only one of those 4 players who has a point, and I think it's only a goal.
Right.
So Cassandra Turner has to see some contributions from the bottom 2 lines in order for this team to challenge teams like Harvard and Clarkson moving forward in ECAC play. And Matt, moving on from that line, is there any other player who has sort of stood out to you so far this year?
You know, there is. Nicole Costa. I mean, she had the game-tying and assisting game-winning goal against Cornell. I think her line hasn't played well, but she's played fantastic, and her line not playing well has affected her plus and minus, which kind of doesn't make her shine as much as the power line and Samoskevich, Woods, and Cianfrano. She's first on the team in shots, second in goals, and 4th in points, which is just amazing. And she's only had 1 penalty against her, yielding 2 minutes. So I mean, I think that if her line steps up, it's going to be a potent line because she's definitely putting in the work.
She's on a line with Megan Turner, a player who does like to get into the dirty areas and who has scored important goals in the past, but perhaps she's a player who needs to step up too. And Matt, in the Cornell game, we saw the first goal Cornell scored. Sydney Rossman was really exposed in goal as 2 Cornell players were right in front of the goal, and Hannah Bunton on the backhand just shuffled it right past her.
Put it right through. I mean, I think they're just missing their assignments sometimes. They're at the wrong place at the wrong time. They're not underperforming. You know, like throughout the whole year, they have a 6-1-2 record, 2-1-1 in the ECAC. It's just that if you miss at the wrong time and leave a player wide open in front of the net, it's tough for the goalie to react because Sid Rossman's relying on her defensemen and folks to really close in that gap. And not allow a player right in the middle of the zone right there just backhanded away. I mean, I feel like after this weekend against Cornell and Colgate, they definitely fixed those holes and gaps in their defense, but they still need to step up. I think they definitely have what it takes to fix those holes and move forward and not allow all those scrappy goals.
And this is a team that prides itself on defense. They have an experienced back line, Sidney Rusler, Taryn Bumgart, Emma Greco. So I think that they'll be fine going forward. It was just a little lapse in that Cornell game. So Matt, moving ahead to this weekend, Princeton's coming in. They were ranked in the USCHO poll last weekend, but they dropped out. Kimberly Newell, the goalie for Princeton, has been really good this year. She was very good last year. What do you see in the matchup?
Well, like you said, doubleheader against Princeton, one home and one away. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Like Quinnipiac this past weekend, 77 shots in 2 games. If they can put a small percentage of those in, I think it's going to look really well. They have all the momentum riding in those shots. They know they're confident in their offense. Their defense definitely stepped up from their loss against Yale. I'd like to see their defense fill those gaps and holes like we talked about. But I think their matchup against Princeton looks pretty good. Although Princeton's goalie is very impressive, I think the offense on Quinnipiac is going to really make a breakthrough in the Princeton defense and put some goals away.
Packed action, more ECAC play this weekend for both Quinnipiac ice hockey teams. For more information, visit our website at q30television.com and follow us on Q30 Sports. For Matt Corso, MJ Baird, I'm Andrew Badillo. Have a good one.